about, maybe you're talking about acting and he'll be like, oh, but let me just tell you the story about on set. You know what I mean? And so then so Bruce Dern being so old, my guess is that he probably does something similar where they hear the question, but I'm just going to talk about whatever I want to talk about.
Bruce was also saying like his act, because he was like, I guess he was a big time runner.
Oh, okay.
In high school, he went to the Olympics in '56.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
He was like a really.
He's like an athlete.
Yeah, he was a world class runner. But anyways, he's from Philadelphia and he's never had acted before, and then he started with a guy that was part of the actor's studio, but he had left because he couldn't get work and moved back to Philadelphia and he was teaching. So the guy took him and some other students to New York to audition for the actor's studio. And the way he tells it is like basically like, you know, these are titans, these are
Right.
legends of the fucking world. Elia Kazan's there, he's one of the founding members and Strasbourg and all the shit. But anyways, so he says Elia Kazan walks up to him after he does audition and he goes, okay, I want to see you in my office 10 a.m. on Monday. And then Strasbourg comes up to him after when he's standing outside there and he goes, you know, you're in the actor's studio. He's like, oh, okay, I am. And he goes, yeah. He goes, because you don't have any bad habits. He goes, you have something that I've only seen two other actors have. Or three other actors, Monty Cliff,
Montgomery
Brando, and James Dean.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, really? Because I watched your work.
Well,
I'm like, you're a good actor.
Well, here's the thing. Who knows? But probably at that age and that newness to it, I don't know what word I would choose instead of newness, they probably had a certain relaxation to them that they didn't get on stage and perform the way. That would be my guess.
He said, you have a thing of being, you're not acting.
Yeah. And at the time, so many people would just get on stage and perform. And, a handful of people were like, I don't know, I'll sit here and listen. If you're not entertained, well, fuck off, I'm listening. And so, but here's the thing I was going to present to you guys and see if you're interested in it, it's up to you. I told him, I was like, I'll talk to the class. But I don't know if any of you guys have ever, I think maybe Miguel has, maybe McKenna. I've told you guys to listen to that guy, Christian James Hand, who breaks down the songs and he breaks them into their different elements. Have you guys ever listened to? Well, it's really good to... Huh? What's that? I've recommended it multiple...
What's the name? Is she saying, is it called Deconstructed?
No, it's called The Session, I think, with Christian James Hand is his podcast. But basically all it is just, he does these 20, 30-minute segments on a radio station here in LA. But he does that, and that's what's his podcast. But he actually does live events where he comes and he does different, like he'll break down the Metallica and Beatles, and it'll be a 3 or 4 hour event where he'll take their popular songs and break them down into their elements. And I don't want to say it costs a lot of money to go to it, but I'm sure a ticket's probably $20 or $30 to go. And he does it for hours, right? He takes their famous songs and breaks them down. I've played a few of them here in class. But anyways, I think it's really important just as an artist to hear, especially if you're an actor, because obviously we all want to be the lead in the show. But the movie's only good not just because of your two leads. It's good because of everybody that's in there, and you got to know what note to play. Anybody that some of you guys are musicians, you know that even that, what he does is break it down into different elements so you can hear like a song that maybe you've never heard the piano in before, and he breaks it down. You're like, oh my God, there's a piano in that song? I never even heard it before. And so he breaks these down, and it just shows how important that even though the lead singer is arguably most important, it's how come all of their songs aren't hits if the lead singer is most important? Because it's the elements of the song, right? It's not just, same thing with a leading man or a leading woman. How come all their movies aren't good then? Because everything else is important. And anyway, so I was listening to another one, and I've been to his website and stuff. So anyway, so I just sent him a message that I was like, hey, I'm an acting teacher here in LA, and I just wanted to say that, I tell my students to listen to your thing because I think it's very educational, et cetera. And so I was like, just keep up the good work. I just sent him a little message, and he sent me back this big long thing. He's like, hey man, thanks so much. He's like, I don't know if you'd be interested, but I'd love to come in and do it for your class.
Oh, wow.
And so if you guys would be interested in taking a class, because obviously I'd do it just during class time, so he didn't have to rent out anything else. But if you guys would be interested in, I don't want to say wasting it, spending the class time to have him, and I'll have no idea what songs he'll break down. Maybe, but he's like, let me know, man. So, so would that be interesting?
It's just like Deconstructed. It's a YouTube channel where they break down all the pop songs on the radio.
Okay. Well, he doesn't just do pop songs because he's actually a drummer in real life. And so he breaks down, I mean, like, if you go to things, he's broken down everything from, I've heard him do from Marvin Gaye, I've heard it through heard it through the grapevine, to, I mean, he's done, yeah, he did Eye of the Tiger, he did, because I let him listen to that one, yeah. I mean, he even did, like, No Doubt, I'm Just a Girl. I mean, like, he does everything, wide gamut of it. And so, well, anyways, I just thought I'd present that to you guys because I was like, I'll get back to you. Let me check with my class, whatever. Because I was like, these are actors. Who fucking knows what they'll be into? So, so I just thought I'd ask you guys. Would that be something you might be interested in? All right. Well, I'll get back to him and see if he'll come over and do that for us. And I think that was about it.
I'm gonna talk about Constance Wu.
Oh yeah. So did you guys listen to Constance Wu?
Dude,
It's pretty good.
I've never listened to one actor. Maybe it hit me in a certain way because I felt like some of the things that she was talking about, like, very much were my.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dude, she brought me to tears twice.
Oh, really? Well, that's great then. One of the things that I really took from it was that, even though you guys are all striving to be the A-list actor, which lead actor, whatever, I want you guys to achieve that. You hear how much she talks about, I just want to fucking act. And it's probably good that she didn't get famous till she'd been doing it for 10 or 15 years. I know you guys want it now. But
I think she was 33 when she got that break.
okay. But, she'd been acting for her whole life, or at least since, yeah. So, and she talked about the, just the love of the work and just stuff that she tries to ignore and whatever. So did you guys, are you the only one that listened to it? Anybody else listen to it? No? You guys should, on off camera. I had Megan put it in you put it in the WhatsApp, you said, right?
Yeah, that's
In the WhatsApp.
really good. Really good.
Yeah, I listened to it and I was like, this is really good.
I listened to it for a second time.
Oh, that's great then.
I do want to see Hustlers now, and I had no interest in it before. Because, look, I love J-Lo. I love her because, I mean, she's a capital C in the biggest way in real life.
The C word.
I've met her. She's really a nasty individual. But what I think is really amazing about her is her work ethic, and, like, she's not the most talented actress, but, like, she's made herself a huge star. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about music. She seems like she's a better musician than she is actress. But
I don't know. I'm not. I've only. I don't know. That's what I was gonna say. I've only heard her sing a few times, and I was like, it was, to me, it was not that it was bad, but it was very generic. Like, I would not be able to pick her out. You know what I mean? She was not unique.
But neither Britney Spears can't sing. She's
But her voice is quite. There's something. But you could. Oh, but I mean, but she's still distinguishable. Like, when I hear Britney Spears, like, even if I don't know the song, I'm like, oh, that's Britney. Like, her voice is, she does it in such a way.
I was thinking about this. I saw the billboard on La Brea when I was driving home today after work, and for
Hustlers.
top billing name, and I also looked it up because I'm like, oh, I want to see like who's top billing on IMDb, because like the first.
Oh yeah,
was,
the
like,
first
there's
four,
your
yeah,
star, right?
yeah.
Constance Wu,
Oh.
not Jennifer Lopez. She's number 2. She was also number 2 on the billboard. I'm thinking, wow, this is insane.
I wonder if that, because not that Jennifer Lopez isn't relevant, but I wonder relevant, not relevant, relevant. That if they're trying to capitalize on Constance Wu's popularity right now because of Crazy Rich Asians and Fresh Off the Boat. So here's the thing. So anyways, I don't know if her work's good. I shouldn't say I've never watched her act, but I was at the gym and they put on what was playing was an episode of Fresh Off the Boat. And it was, I couldn't hear it, right, because the sound's down. But what I really was drawn to was the guy, the guy who's her husband, or I don't know the storyline, but I was like, all he does through that, because I just watched one episode, so I probably watched maybe 12 minutes of it then, as I'm peeking up and watching scenes in between commercials. All he does the whole fucking show is pull this face.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, he's terrible. He's pulling a fucking face the whole goddamn time.
He's a character.
And I was like, he's not good. How the fuck did he get a lead in the show?
Dude, he was on Veep.
Was he? I didn't finish it, so I just remember,
She's a pretty good actress, man.
Is she?
I don't think, I mean, I watch Crazy Rich Asians, and I'm married to an Asian woman, so, and she's Taiwanese, so Fresh Off the Boat literally is.
Oh, okay.
They're from Taiwan.
Mm.
So we've watched it. But I'll say one thing. I don't think she's ever had, I mean, I don't know, we'll see this thing Hustlers, but she's a very good actress, but I don't think she's ever had a role that's really stretched her, that I've seen yet.
Like she's got some depth
Wow.
to it, right? Like there's depth to it.
I don't know if it's.
Yeah, she just probably hasn't been challenged for it. Everything is kind of, but that guy was terrible. I was like, and here the only other thing I'd ever seen him in was one little clip of The Office when they were trying to pull a prank on Dwight, and remember when they had him be Jim? Yeah. That's the only ever thing I was like, oh, he's pretty good. And then I just was peeking this. I was like, this is terrible. And I mean, the sound wasn't on, so maybe it's okay. But I was like, this guy's not good. And I mean, he's pulling a face the whole time.
What I will say about J-Lo, though, is that she does understand the industry, because I read an article the other day that she said about how hard it was to make a movie right now with female leads. And she said, first of all, it's hard to make a movie, period. It has to be a Marvel comic or some crazy franchising, but the smaller movies about humanity and people and life and struggles, you don't get that as much unless you do that for nothing and there's no budget.
Yeah.
Which is what we've talked about for many months.
Yeah.
About how no one wants to tell a story anymore.
Yeah, right? It's the Marvel nonsense.
And strippers is a huge, like...
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I know what you're saying, though. But it's still not, it's an original idea, right? It's not a sequel or some sort of spin-off, right? It's an original idea. And you do have a bunch of female leads. And, yeah, it's hard, man.
Let's not forget.
It's hard.
We know that we're in it for the art.
Yeah.
But studio execs and studios that are corporate run and usually have shareholders.
Yeah, they're business people. That's exactly right.
They're going to go with a safe bet. Like, oh, this one's going to make me, $500 million. This one will make me.
Look, that's why so many writers, right? I think that's why they're going to the Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, because I'll bet anything. I'll bet you anything that says 80 to 90% of the shows that are on Netflix or Amazon or Hulu have come across the desk of network people, and they're like, oh, we can't sell that. Guaranteed. It's not like they're like, oh, now we can really wait, we want to write. No, I guarantee they've already written it and they were passed on.
Look at The Irishman, dude. Martin Scorsese's been trying to make that for 10 years.
Yeah.
No one would touch it, and then Netflix is the one that actually gave him the money.
One of the, if you guys want a real good thing about perseverance and following your, I don't say your dream, but like going, no, I know this will work. You should listen to the guy, I forget his name now, I could look it up, but he wrote the movie Arrival, and he was on...
Yes, Villeneuve?
No, he's the director. The guy that actually wrote Arrival, he's the director. But the guy that wrote it...
With Jeremy Renner?
Yeah, Jeremy Renner and Redhead, what's her name? Amy Adams. So he was on the podcast, the one I tell you guys to listen to once in a while, called The Moment with Brian Koppelman, who's a writer. He wrote, so this guy wrote Arrival, and he wrote it, and they went to the 12 major studios. All 12 of them passed on it. He sat on this script for whatever it was, 8 years or something. And he was like, I know it's good. And people, but if people are like, it's great, hard pass. And then Villeneuve, Denny, means like, we're not going to make it. You, like, don't even bring it back to us.
Oh, okay.
Hard pass. It's not like, maybe in 6 months, or go rewrite it, or maybe do this. They're like...
Recommend, what is it?
Recommend, consider, pass, and then you can write like lightly recommend, lightly consider.
But he's like, and just to give you an idea, what he ended up adding into it. That's why if you watch the movie, that there are 12 spaceships that land around, because he's like, I just want to give a reference that of the 12 things, the 12
that's
major
fucking
studios that
awesome.
passed on it. That's why there's 12 alien or spaceships in the thing. But anyways, but listen to it on the moment with Brian Koppelman, and he talks about, he's like, yeah, everybody, he's like, because Brian's like, this is a great story. And basically what they get down to, it's because, you know, if you, that's a lot of keys. It's like, is it the janitor? It's Miguel. So it's like the janitor with all those keys. But that's why, you know, if it's not Marvel, you know, if it's like, if you just go, oh, it's a Marvel thing, they don't even have to use their imagination, right? Because they're business people in general. The people that are making these choices, they're business people. I mean, you've talked about how even you as an actor, that sometimes you're like, I just need to get up and act it before I can see it. So imagine trying to explain that to somebody who only looks at the fucking stock market thing, the ticker running across the fucking screen, and you need them to use their imagination. Good luck. And so that's, you know, but hopefully these movies do well, the smaller movies. And then,
My buddy who works
Go-
in the payroll, right, the people that cut the checks.
mhm.
What is it called? Accountants? Yeah, but what's the name of the company? It's like a big company. We all get to check.
Well, like entertainment partners, there's all those, yeah.
He works at. Anyways, so he was, and he's also a writer, a very talented guy, very talented. But anyways, he was saying, he's like, we went to go see Once Upon a Time when it first opened together. Because he's a crazy like film buff. And he's like, this will be the last time that you see anything like this. He's like, he's like, you wait 5 years from now, he's like, all you're gonna see the only time the movie theaters is like these superhero movies or like some big franchise. He's like, this kind of movie, he's like, you'll never see this.
Yeah. I mean, look, if that wasn't Quentin Tarantino, that movie wouldn't be made. It's because he had 8 movies previous that they're like, oh, it's Quentin Tarantino, it's going to be good. That movie wouldn't have been made if that was one of you guys. Guaranteed. You could write that movie just as fucking good as him. They wouldn't have made it. Oh, so you saw it? Look, Andrew's like, oh, the sky is open. The Lord comes down. You are blessed. Oh. Yeah, it's good. Go watch it, guys. It's pretty good.
I have a fun fact from that movie.
Okay, what's the fun fact?
It's really cool. So in the beginning, when they're at dinner, it's like a dinner and they're referencing, and there's a guy playing Boschek. I
Who?
met him. He's like 85 years old.
The guy that Al Pacino plays, that guy?
No, the director.
Oh, the director that comes in?
Um,
Yeah, hires him? No?
Wait, is it the guy interviewing them?
it's like he always hangs out around the house. Not what's his name? Not the guy from
He's 85 now?
Rick Dalton.
that.
That's
The guy who loves Marvel.
that's Leo, right?
Sterling, Jesus.
Jason Sterling.
Yeah.
Dead.
The guy who they reference the name Bochtek.
Oh, I don't know
met him
that.
in New York, and he's friends with Rosemary's Baby, the director.
Oh,
Yes,
the
No.
friend.
Yeah, the friend.
Wait,
He's
what?
dead.
No, he was killed.
That guy was murdered.
Yeah, he was.
Bochtek?
Yeah,
Yeah, his best friend was dead.
that's the thing with the story is that those people like they
Awkward.
They actually went to the house and murdered.
Those are the 4 people
Yeah,
that
they were
died.
killed.
Those are
I
the
don't
4
know.
people that died. The Maxwell, she's the heir to the Maxwell, like,
No,
Mhm.
it's both- yeah. That-
Okay.
maybe it was a friend that, but that guy's dead.
Yeah, he died.
He died.
Yeah.
Very, very
He
good.
was like an accountant or
Like,
something like that.
storyline, but the dialogue is garbage.
Mm.
Like absolute garbage. And Jada Pinkett Smith in it, she plays a mob boss, and she very much plays a caricature of a mob boss.
Like it's an idea,
Like
almost.
it's an idea. Like
Yeah.
everyone else is real and believable and whatever, but she does
Hmm.
this like, I'm in charge and you're gonna listen to me, which as a woman, I think that makes you look less in power than if you were to just be. So I mean, I guess it was a character choice for her, but to me, it was a very poor choice.
Hmm.
And I wonder if it has to do with the fact that she has been out of the business for so long, and then because she is who she is, she can step back into the spotlight and automatically get these
Big role.
roles
Could
that
be.
really she doesn't have the talent for anymore. Like
Maybe.
her
Are they supposed to be like
They're-
father and daughter or
No,
something?
so it's James Gordon, which is the police officer.
Oh, he becomes the police. She's talking about Gotham, a TV show,
It's
Gotham.
been out for a while.
Yeah, it's like
It's like season 6.
yeah, it's based one before like
Batman comes to
I
town.
started binge
Yeah.
watching it this
Okay.
weekend, and it's a very good storyline, but the
There's some good acting.
dialogue is garbage. Oh my god, the guy that plays Penguin is
Good.
slept on. He is so
He's good.
good. So good. Like he does this thing where he has to like is down on the floor and he has to get up and he like scales up the wall in a way that I was like that
good.
didn't I was literally in awe of it. And
That's
all he
good.
did was stand up. It's crazy. But Jada Pinkett Smith sucks.
Well, sometimes sometimes it's that's the way it goes. What are you
But no,
gonna do?
Barbara is his girlfriend in it, and she later in the series, I don't know, becomes his wife or whatever.
Oh,
Maybe, yeah.
gotcha.
But their chemistry is awful. I'm like, did they do a chemistry read?
Who knows?
And
Who
it's
knows?
another one where they tried to sneak a lesbian couple in
Oh yeah.
because she has this like lesbian backstory, and the girlfriend that she was supposed to be with was a former like alcoholic and lied to her and treated her terribly. And I'm like, if we are trying to shine a light on LGBTQ or whatever, we're trying to, do it justice, why would you have a bad relationship put on screen? I don't know, I just think it makes me-
bad relationship in what sense?
That's because she wasn't really gay. She's just I don't know.
Bad relationship in what sense? In the sense that like they didn't have a healthy relationship, or bad relationship as it reads bad as it has a view.
No, Barbara and the MCU, the girl actress, the Latino.
I haven't seen it, but I'm just like I'm just
If
trying
you
to.
haven't seen it, why are you
No, I'm
asking
just
me?
I'm trying to understand you saying like why put a bad lesbian couple out there, like, which like I'm trying to
So
understand that.
basically, the situation was very toxic. They were dating before she got with James Gordon, and the one was an alcoholic, and she was toxic, and she lied to her, and it was a very abusive relationship. And they even say that. verbatim.
So basically what you're saying is that she was in this lesbian relationship with this bad egg, we'll call it, and then she went straight.
It was so bad she went straight.
Yeah,
So why
that's
would
terrible.
They shine light? Why
That's
would
terrible.
They shine light on such a bad relationship
They're trying to push it. Who knows?
if we're trying to push
I mean,
LGBTQ?
I don't know.
wouldn't you want to like shed light on a bad relationship just to show that they're like everyone else?
Maybe. I mean, that might be a good thing, but not to make her straight, because then it's almost like, hey, it's a choice. Because then it's a choice, right?
Exactly. That's exactly
Yeah.
how it felt.
'Cause then it's a choice.
You want to normalize it, so you want to show there's issues, like they have issues just like we have issues.
That's correct. I agree with you too. Yeah. But yeah, you don't.
Bye then.
She's bi.
Dude, my best friend, he married my wife and I. He was the whatever ceremonies. He married a woman that had not been in a relationship with a man for 10 years.
Wow.
Had been exclusively with women. They had a kid together. I told him, I'm like, dude, you're in for a world of hurt. But he shut me down. I was like, all right.
She was only pretending to be gay. Go ahead, Charles. Charles had a thing.
I watched The Master this weekend,
Uh huh.
but I was just listening to like too many interviews with Paul Thomas Anderson and Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
And Paul Thomas Anderson was writing a script for like 10 years or something. He had the idea when he was filming Magnolia, which was 1999. The movie didn't even come out until 2012, so God knows how long he was actually writing it. But he says that what he had Philip Seymour Hoffman in mind for the role that he was in, and so over the course of years, he would go to Philip and say, "What do you think about this?" And he'd say, "Well, I think the story should go this way. I think the story, I like this. Maybe drop that." And like halfway through that process, Philip Seymour Hoffman said to Paul Thomas Anderson, because the story was about his character, he said, "This story isn't about this character. It's about Joaquin Phoenix's character. It's not about this guy. It's about that guy." And Paul Thomas Anderson says, "That's the kind of actor you want to work with.
Yeah.
Not the guy who shows up and says, well, how many lines do I have?"
Yeah.
Not paying attention to that. You want to work with the guy who says, well, this is where the story should go, even if it's at the, my chagrin.
That's right. I couldn't agree more, man. It's
And another tie into what was being talked about is that, like, Paul Thomas Anderson, the last 3 movies he did, and I didn't know this, I looked this up today, The Master, Inherent Vice, and Phantom Thread, all 3 failed at the box office. They lost their budget by like, I don't know, like $10 or $15 million, or $5 million, whatever it was. Yet he still made the fucking movie that he wanted to make.
Yeah.
Granted, he had 4 or 5
Hits,
solid
yeah.
movies beforehand, but he was still able to. He just fucked. I think there's a lot of roadblocks that are self-imposed, whether it's anybody in the industry, that you say, I can't do this, I need money to do that, I have to do this, and it's just all very silly nonsense, and you can go make the movie that you want. Robert Rodriguez, he just debuted some film at some film festival. It was a feature-length film. He made it after, I don't even know what movies he's known for, Robert Rodriguez.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico and Desperado
Yeah.
and
And so I guess some.
what was the other one?
After,
Oh, yeah, from Dust Till Dawn, yeah.
at some point after he was kind of made these breakout films that he had, for some reason he had the instinct to go make some little shitty horror film for $7,000, and he released it to these film festivals. And he did some interview on some website or some film festival, and he said, "Look, I made this. I get questions from filmmakers all the time. He's saying that like, oh, how do I find producers and how do I get the blah blah blah." He says, and this is why he released this film. He said, "I made a feature film for $7,000. And granted, it's not gonna win a fucking Oscar, but it was the film I wanted to make, and I fucking made it for $7,000. You worked at fucking, you know." And it's just that's inspiring. It's like there's so many roadblocks where there's an actor saying, "Well, I need a fucking series regular," you know, "I need a fucking," you know, or a director saying, "Well, I worked on it for 6 years, and what's the right," you know, there's so many roadblocks that people self-impose that
Yeah.
it's silly to do that. I think.
Go
I
ahead,
just
Mike.
wanted to say, after watching that movie, that Margaret Robbie comment was like, no, that
No,
wasn't.
did you feel like she was like? I felt like I was going to see her say 6 lines in the movie after that thing, and then I go and watch it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? She's in the whole fucking movie.
I think the way they used it was perfect. I think they did a
No question about it.
They honored that actress.
I-
Sharon Tate, yeah, like
I was like, you felt she was underused in that movie? That's craziness.
I want to ask you
Yeah.
something, Charles, about that, because I heard Bruce Stern on that interview. He said that Warren Beatty. You said that somebody else would. Maybe you said Steve McQueen did this. Would take like the lines. That
Steve McQueen did. Yeah, he would either cross them out because he'd go, I could do that with a look, or he would give his lines to his fellow co-actor, his other actor. He'd say to the director, give that line to, this person, if it's expositional.
McQueen was notorious for like throwing tantrums. Like even when he did the Magnificent Seven, he threw tantrums to get himself more. Oh, and he certainly did it in The Great Escape. Become a star. Like they had to write extra scenes for him to be in because it was really about Yul. Was it not Yul Brynner? It was what's
Eli
the-
Wallach.
Eli Wallach?
Eli
Yeah,
Wallach
okay.
was the bad guy. He said he could play Eli Wallach's part. Like I remember this.
Yeah,
That-
so-
okay, that may be, but I'm just telling you, like scene to scene, he was not worried about dialogue.
Yeah.
He may have wanted more scenes. I've never heard of that, but that may be exist. But the story about him crossing out his lines and going, I can do that with a look. Whereas, like you said, back in the day, it was about this, and he was like, I can do that with a look. I don't need to say that. So, all right. Well, anything else? Otherwise, we'll get cracking. Go ahead. You have anything? No? No? Anybody? How'd your thing go last week, McKenna? Could they hear you? Oh, okay. It was a small room. Small room.
Well done, McKenna. Good comeback.
Okay, cool.
But it's like basically, they kind of scheduled it around the other co-lead because his schedule is like, he's like an actual touring magician. And like part of the
Nerd alert. Just kidding.
being a magician, but because he didn't show up for like the day they scheduled for him, they
The rabbit's already in the hat. The rabbit's already in the hat. Just kidding.
they're gonna maybe find another person. So I'm like the only solid person.
Oh, okay. Well, fingers crossed.
You gotta listen. You're gonna love Bruce.
What? Okay, I'll listen to it. I just didn't know because I.
He did something. Okay, he calls them Guernseys.
Okay.
He's giving them. He's like he's created all this stuff. He's like, oh yeah, just leave the camera on me for 3 more seconds, and I'll give you. It's crazy how egotistical. But the thing I want to say to you, he does a lot of the stuff that you do that he calls them Guernseys, which is like adding dialogue to something to make it richer. And he's like, the writer could have never wrote that. He could have never wrote that. But like so egotistical about it. But I was like, Matthew does that all the time.
Yeah, but usually when I add dialogue, those of you that have ever been with me, I'm like, oh, say that. It's because that's what you would have said, not necessarily because I'm like, oh, this is not enough here or whatever. I'm like, I don't know, say what you would say. I mean, just to give you an idea, the other day when I sat down, I had to tape Leaf or something, and we sat down, and I'm like, I'm like, this sounds like a white person writing how they think a cholo speaks. I'm like, what would you say here? And he's like, I would say this. I'm like, all right, do that in the take. And so then we did it. But yeah, I don't. And here's the thing. I don't think with dialogue, unless it's Quentin Tarantino who has a very specific idea in mind, nobody's going to, like the white guy sitting in the writer's room that's trying to write for a cholo. And he's like, this is what he thinks he says. And then the cholo comes and says, no, I would say this. Guarantee they're going to be like, yeah, say that. They're not that egotistical about their words. But
Well, I noticed like actors are really good at writing dialogue in scripts, but they lack in like the plot or like the story structure. Like the dialogue's really good, but I'm like the story is kind of like.
yeah, well,
You should read this book, Save the Cat, because he says a lot of writers suck at that.
yes. Perhaps, you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. In general, when I've read some, this is not to offend anybody in here either, but I've read some actors writing, and in general, what I usually see, it's overwritten. You know what I mean? They think that they have to say this. And I'm like, I'm telling you, because usually when I read scripts, I'm looking at it as a director, going, can I see this, right? Can I see this? And then when I see things happen, I'm like, oh, you don't even need to say that. And so that's what in general, what I see from writers is, right, they can say a great line, or actors, I should say, right? They'll say a great line or whatever, but it tends to be overwritten. And I'm like, yeah, it's overwritten. So, how'd your thing go? Shit. You're trying to, I'm just trying to keep things positive here, or whatever your line was.
Oh.
How'd that go? Terrible?
Yeah.
Oh, nailed it.
Never tell listeners. Just super annoying.
Okay. Okay, so Charles, what are you doing today?
Second reading.
Okay. So Ricky and Charles, and then Andrew?
I got set up with Ricky and Megan. Oh, I think. Oh.
No, I forgot.
And,
I was at lunch.
say that?
Megan, you are the.
I can't hear you. And yeah, okay, an exercise. Do you have an activity to do today? Okay. That's fine. And then Miguel and McKenna. And so that's it? Nobody else is coming?
Kate will be here at 8:15.
Oh, okay, cool. I downloaded her song. I was listening to it when I was getting ready, but I didn't really. She let a new song out, right? Cool. Okay.
What's the stage name? Bullshit?
I was trying to think if there was anything else that I need to say. I don't think so. So I'll contact that guy and see if we can. It won't be till maybe October or something once everybody's back. So we don't. I would like to have it as many people for him as possible, so he's not just coming in and doing it for 8 people. Although he might not mind. I don't know. I was like, oh, I'll get back to you.
When's seed night?
So that's going to, well, we planned on the October 22. We plan on October 22, but if we come to, what would be the week before? That would be 17, 16, 15. So October 15th, bring in your scenes, like we'll do a kind of a final run through. Like a tech type thing. If they're not quite ready, we'll put it off to the 29th, but if not, we'll do it the 22nd.
I think we gotta do it 22nd, 29th. People are gonna be checked out, man, for Halloween.
Well, you can wear your costumes. No, because like nobody does really anything. It's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. I don't think that we will miss a lot of people on a Tuesday.
She's gonna party hard, guaranteed.
Blacked out. Halloween.
On the 29th, though? But not the 20.
I do seances. Oh, okay.
But not the 20. No, not the 29th, though, right? Like that'd be the 31st.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully it's the 22nd. But
You remember, like, all of October, she started wearing, like, T-shirts and...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just wait. I've got t-shirts up my sleeve. But I
Halloween.
did tell my manager
Yeah. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. But let's get Paul back in here so he can do this thing with the Amber. And then you don't have one, right? Yeah.
We're talking.
You're talking.
Yeah.
And then you don't have one.
No, I'm supposed to be doing Kate. Finally gonna do the rape scene.
Oh, that would be great for Halloween.
Yeah.
Can I be the understudy on
He just comes to the door, trick or treat. I was looking for what's the guy's name? Rob, or I don't remember what his name is.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Okay. Well, I don't think I have anything else, so let's get cracking. Cool.